Well, Sherry, thank you for taking the time today. I met your son for the first time on the Crow shoot, the test shoot that they were doing in Huntsville, and Tyler Gallant, really talented. The night was about him. He did a wonderful job, but I walked away, and the most impressive, the biggest takeaway of the evening was your son, Kevin Sexton, and I was just impressed with just this ridiculously high level of energy that he had. And he just knew how to do just about everything, well enough to, it really solidified, the whole shoot solidified around your son. I'm wondering, how was he like as a child?
About as crazy.
About as crazy.
About as crazy, yeah.
He really took over, not like a tyrant, but just his energy just flowed around and everybody was in it. It was fun,
He was constantly going, headstrong on whatever he wanted to do, and determined to do whatever it was. And it was his way or no way.
Right.
That's just the way it was.
But I don't get I don't get a dictator feel from him at all. It's sort of like, it's my way, but it's going to be so fun and so high energy, and people just buy in.
He grew out of that dictatorship.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah, he grew out of that
right.
one.
So I'm seeing the mature Kevin.
Yes, you
right.
are.
So there was
Yes,
there was a dictator once. I see.
There was in his own world, and when I say world, it means that his own environment that he was in. He knew back then what he wanted to do, what he didn't want to do, and he kind of had his own path set. And he didn't want to listen to what we said, and I guess it was until his 30s he finally decided he ought to listen every now and then,
Right.
So, but it's growing up, and I think that's with everybody.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, there's probably a good metaphor in there for growing up through these movies, right? He seems to learn more and more as he goes along down this path that he's chosen for himself. But what did you think about his wrestling career? Was Mama worried?
Scared me to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew it would be just one wrong move, and his life would be ruined.
Yeah.
You stop and think, and then I, as a mother, one move, paralyzed from your neck down the rest of your life. What can you do?
Yeah, well, so Mama's worried about the extreme. Was there anything good about it at all, or?
Oh, he had the talent there, and he had the determination. And the determination was that he was going to be the biggest, the baddest wrestler that ever has been, and that was his goal.
Yeah.
And and he went a long way, considering everything he did basically was self-taught.
Yeah.
Even in his artwork is self-taught. I don't know if he got that from me, because I'm a self-taught artist.
Yeah.
I taught, I've taken some classes over the years, but, I guess that's where just him and I are so much like that, we do what we like.
So it seems to be a trend. So whether it's art, movies, wrestling, he chooses a path and just figures out how to go along, or to go down that path. But it sounds like, if it wasn't for the support around him, he'd still be charging down that path, but it sort of facilitates the path a little more. I'm sure. Any particular? Was there any particular problem that he had? Whether it was wrestling, art, whatever, that he figured out some kind of bullheaded way to get over, or?
Well, he was diagnosed with dyslexia when he was young in elementary school, but by the time we got him to the doctor, he'd figured out how to undo everything was wrong. So it was kind of a wasted effort as far as that, and the only thing they told him to do is walk on a balancing beam. And I thought, well, if you only knew the cliffs he was walking on, balancing beam's out of the question. But he did everything himself. He solved his own problems as far as that goes. He's always been that.
Well, surely Mama had some kind of advice or something along the way.
Mama always has advice, but now whether he listens,
he's taking it or not.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Mamas do.
That's what Mamas do, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And I don't know how, I guess he kind of like me, he stumbled into the art stuff, because that's how I started. I just had the urge to do an oil painting of him when he was young. child.
And you just
I just had the
Go
desire,
on.
and I went to go buy paints and know nothing about it. I was going to do it.
yeah.
And I run into a friend of mine, and she got me introduced to a local artist that was kind of teaching some classes. And then after that, I started videoing programs that's coming on. I was reading books and magazines, and the rest of it was self-taught.
Okay.
And I guess he grew up in that kind of environment, and then I started teaching classes.
I'm beginning to understand a little more now.
And he was always there. Him and his younger brother was always there in the classes, and I guess he heard more than what I was thinking he was hearing, because I guess that's where it took off from, and stuff. And then his daughter, which she's an artist, and then her son's an artist, and well, she's got 2 or 3 others that's her little blooming artists too. So it's just kind of trickling down.
Well, I've kind of seen like a model, right? So headstrong, gets into something that he, has a lot of desire to get into, gets into it for a while, learns some stuff on his own, but it sounds like, for real success, for long-term success, there's specialists, experts, supporters, whatever, that you sort of have to get involved. Kind of like what you were talking about. You kind of just started putting paint on a canvas one day, and then at some point, you got somebody to support you. I'm kind of seeing the same thing over and over. The wrestling and the art, and now this movies and the people. It's very interesting, I think, for sure.
We're a crazy little family.
I think you might just be a crazy little family.
We are a crazy little family.
Right.
But good stuff has come out of it.
I think
Even though
so.
the craziness, I think you have to have the craziness to make the good stand out.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what we did, But he had a normal childhood as far as that goes. He had a lot of experiences and stuff, but,
Mama and son, just the occasional struggle, it seems like.
daily.
More than
Daily, yeah.
occasional,
I mean,
I see. Okay.
yeah, if you grew up, and if you talked to my other son, you would know that it was always there. There was always that yang
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
It was quite crazy in our little world as he was growing up, because he kept stuff stirred up all the time, especially with him and his brother. So he was that. I mean, but it was Kevin. It was who he was, and you had to try to deal with Kevin as Kevin was, and you still do.
Yeah.
I deal with it all the time, don't I? So.
Well, I think you raised him ideally to break into the world of art. I mean, this is a brutal business, isn't it? I mean, very few make it at a level that will actually pay bills, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. It's art is very well appreciated, but not appreciated to the point that people see it as it is, and doesn't understand the level of work that goes behind it. And they think, oh, you just sat down and you did this. Well, no, that don't take time of creativity in your mind. It doesn't take the time of planning it out. It doesn't take the time that you count for what you did, why you did it, and then the end results. Oh, they think you throw it out in a few minutes. Well, you don't. There's more behind it than everybody thinks.
Says Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much,
You're
Sherry,
quite
for
welcome.
joining us today.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
All right.